Hello everybody, Chris with Night 11 Card Games back again for day 16 of my Earthborne Rangers Legacy of the Ancestors campaign. So we are on day 16, which gives us new weather. We're back to enveloping silence. And before I start with my setup and everything, we do have an event happening today. You jump as an ear-splitting crack rings out. Some nearby stones crack in half as the ground begins to twist and writhe. The earthquakes have not slowed down. You think you only have a few more days until whatever is happening reaches its conclusion. Alright, so again, we need to get down to the lower level and get down here to the cage. So we were able to get the door opener that we need to get the lock panel. However, looking at the map, we also need to get the reward that lets us deal with the overgrown passage. So I've got that mission. What I need to do is I need to have some spores, then I need to go on a non-fungal location to experiment with them, if you will. So I ended the last day moving from the mycelial conclave up to the branching artery through the fungal forest. So I should get plenty of fungus to get the spores. And then my goal is to move over to the terminal artery and complete that. And if everything goes well, which it hasn't so far in this campaign, I will also have enough to at least get down that location. So we'll see how things go today. So let's give our deck a quick shuffle. Draw our opening hands. I am putting Lund's door opener into play with setup just because if things go well, I'll need it to get out of there. All right. Well, I want Pakoto. I want the Stout-Hearted Guardian. I'm going to keep following footsteps. I'm going to pitch these three. Lambent's Rig, another Cordo's Instinct, and a Rebreather. Well, the Rebreather will be good for icons because I don't need it for water. Unfortunately, I do not have an aid card. So I can't do my my exhaust trick to deal with the fatigue stack. Alright, with the branching artery, we do have to look for the next feature and put it into play. That is a being. That is a feature. And that is glowing mushrooms. It goes within reach. It is illumination and mycelial traded. And when a feature with the mycelial keyword comes into play, add one spore to it. Okay. Flip yourselves over. Oh yeah, this one's got the Yellow Sun challenge effect. I discard 2 progress from the location. If I can't, then I suffer a fatigue. So I think I don't want to do that until after I get enough spores, I guess? Ugh. Can't say I particularly like that. Alright, let's spend 2 spirit to get Pakoto out. Let's try this to collect the spores. So focus. I will just do a 1-to-1 on it. -1. I fail. Red crest. Nothing there. I'm going to try to traverse test on the glowing mushrooms. 2 versus 1. 0, I succeed with 2 progress. So I can clear that out after I get the spores. Let's try to connect with Pakoto. 1-to-1. 0, I succeed with 1 progress. This one says, Yellow Sun, each ranger may discard 1 energy to stay quiet. If you do not, add echoes equal to your effort and flip this card. Well, I guess I will spend a awareness for that, and this I suffer fatigue. On the mission, if a path card has more than 1 spore, which it does not. Okay. I don't have enough to do anything else. So we are going to end our turn and rest. I can't travel, so we draw a card. It is Wonders of the Valley. Okay. And we get a new path card. It is, oh no, the Burden Archelon. This is not great. Search the path card and discard for the next flora and attach it face up to this predator. Right. That one is a spore mushroom. Let's see here. Get all progress from it. Oh, that's not good. If you have 1 or more fatigue, the Archelon snaps at you. Suffer 1 injury. This could be a short day. Alright. Now, explore and attach it face up to this predator. I don't know if that means it's into play. So I don't know if I can add spores to it. We'll say I can. Okay, so... Alright, let's exhaust Pakoto. Spend a charge to put 2 up on him. We are going to... do the focus test on this guy. So 2 versus 1... I succeed. So this moves over here. Yellow Sun, I have to spend an energy, which I'll spend another awareness. I suffer another fatigue. Nothing there. If this being has an attached flora, add 1 harm to this being and discard all progress from it. Oh, man. Well, that stinks. And I need to reshuffle here. So I think I determined that I need 3 spores before I can move on, if I remember correctly. Yeah, if you have 3 or more. So yeah, I want at least 3 spores. All right, let's try, since that guy is out, let's try to traverse that guy. 2 versus 1. -1, I succeed. Only 1 progress, though. I suffer another fatigue. This is going to be, well, that one, I do the awareness. This one, I suffer the fatigue. And this one is he suffers a damage. Oi. Really need an aid card. I'm going to try to connect Pakoto. 3 versus 1. +1, I succeed with 4 effort. Blue. Nothing. Add 1 spore to each active path card with a spore. Okay, what does blue on this guy say? If there is an active prey, exhaust it. There is not. All right, that is that. So we are going to end our turn. Can't travel. Ready everything up. Draw a card. Quiet. Interesting. And we get a new path card. Parasitic mushroom. Mycelial. So it comes in with a spore on it. All right, we're going to try to get that spore off. We're just going to go 1-1. 0, I succeed, so I get the spore. Unfortunately, I saw the challenge color, and that's not good. Nothing, 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 nothing. Here, I have 1 or more fatigue, so I suffer an injury. So when I suffer an injury, my discard pile gets discarded. Gauzblade Expedition Logbook and my second copy of Pakodo. And now every time I refresh, I will also get fatigued 1. Yeah, let's try to traverse the glowing mushrooms. 2 versus 1. -1, I succeed. That's going to be enough to clear it. Red crest. On the bright side, I have no fatigue stack. If you have 3 or more fatigue, exhaust this floor, suffer an injury. Well, I don't have any fatigue at the moment, so joke's on you. I will spend 2 to get the Stout-Hearted Guardian on me, because if I do get an aid card, I can do something about that. Just debating on... So I've got Cordo's Instinct. I can do that too. Tough choices. Try to give myself something okay for a turn. So why don't I do that? So I'm going to spend 2 for Cordo's Instinct. So let's go figure out something to put on there. Ooh. I am going to put Harlan Voss, Explorer, on top. And we will end our turn and rest. Can't travel, so in refresh phase, the injury takes 1 from us. Come on, aid card. Nope. Oh, before I did that, I was going to... Before I ended, I was going to actually do Pakodo, so... Alright, new path card. It is Harlan Voss. 127. Let's see what this guy's up to. All right. As you cross a walkway, you hear footsteps from the chasm below. You peek over the edge to see the explorer Harlan Voss walking along a platform several meters below. He notices you and waves. What's he doing down there? Search the path deck for Quizzy Voss and discard her. Clear Harlan with progress. Okay. We will discard her. Okay. Okay. What I'm going to do here. We're going to try to connect to Harlan Voss. We are going to do Compassionate and 3 Spirit, so we are a 5 versus a 1. We succeed with 6 progress. Fortunately, that's a red crest, which I don't like. Alright. Then I'm going to spend 1 fitness to play Follow in Footsteps. After you succeeded a connect test, add progress to a feature equal to your effort. That's in addition to the regular. So, it does that. So I clear both these cards. So I have to take care of clearing everything before I do the challenge effect. So let's see what happens when I clear Harlan Voss. Harlan waves you closer. As you approach, you see that he is holding a scroll of light. You watch as he traces delicate, sparkling yellow lines over its surface with a golden stylus. This marvelous device is a mapping system, he says. As I explore the tunnels, I trace my route through the environment on the scroll. Quizzy's doing the same. Once we've finished exploring the artery, we'll combine the information in her scroll with mine and create a reasonably accurate 3-dimensional map of the entire area we can reproduce in flow steel. I was just about to finish up here. Care to help me track down my daughter? She's around here somewhere. We choose to let's go find Quizzy to discard all progress from Harlan Voss and attach the helping hand mission to him. Or B, I'm sure she'll show up. Discard Harlan Voss and each ranger soothe to fatigue. I'm going to choose to do that one. I only had 1 fatigue, so that is my other Lambent's rig. Now I do the red crest. Nothing, nothing, nothing. And here, if you have 1 or more fatigue, suffer an injury, but I no longer have 1 or more fatigue because I cleared Harlan. Okay, perfect. All right, we're going to try to do the focus test to grab one of the spores off of that. I succeed with a 2 effort. And what is it? Move spores up to your effort. Oh, so I get both of them. So this goes up to 4. These go away. Red crest. I still have no fatigue, so nothing there. Okay. All right, we are now going to use Pakoto to put him up to 4 progress. And I am going to end my turn. Can't travel, so we're on the refresh phase. This fatigues me 1. I draw a card, which is the Expedition Logbook. Ready, Pakoto. Now we get a new path card. It is a moment. A sudden darkness. The chamber shudders and you feel a subsonic pulse move through your body. All at once, light sources in the environment dim to almost nothing. The area is shrouded in darkness. Place this card in the surroundings. While this card is in play, areas cannot be illuminated. Response: at the end of the round, discard this moment. And awareness, plus icon. 2, feel your way through the darkness to discard this moment. If you fail, suffer a fatigue. I don't care about it being dark, so. Alright, my turn. I'm going to use 1 charge on Pakoto to get up to 6 here, which is enough to clear this big guy and the attachment that is on him. Whew. Alright, we are now going to try to travel. We will. We're going to use Wonders of the Valley and 2 fitness. So 3 versus 2. +1. Nice. Succeed with 4. Nothing with a red crest. I'm going to try to remember my ranger training to desperately try to find some kind of aid card so I can do my shtick. 0, I succeed, so I can look at the top card of my deck. It is not, so I will put that at the bottom. And then draw a card. All ranger badge. Perfect. That's the one that I wanted. Blue Mountain. Nothing. There is nothing with a spore. So we are done there. I will spend 2 to get my ranger badge out, which is an aid card. Comes in with 3. I will exhaust, spend the last spirit energy to put 1 on here. To get this, Bravest Ranger, nice. And that's all I'm going to do. So I am done. I do have enough to travel, and I have enough spores. Yeah. So I'll flip that when I move. So I am going to drop the map. But I'm going to travel from the branching artery to the terminal artery through the ancient ruin location. All right, I will get that set up and be back momentarily. All right, we are at the terminal artery. The arterial system ends here in a large cavern. Where the suspended track terminates, you see a towering structure. What purpose it served, you cannot tell. But judging by the many stairs and interior chambers, it must have been a place of great activity in the ancient past. Here marks the breadth of the Estian subterranean expansion. You wonder, why did they choose to end here? Are there other narrow passages leading farther east, beyond the mountain itself? So, as you explore your surroundings, you discover a massive sealed door. Try as you might, you're unable to open it. It's far too large to force open, and whatever mechanisms once moved, it seemed to have grown inert. Search the general set for the locked passage and put it into play. So there's locked passage. A 0 presence, comes in with 0 power, has 4 progress on it, and it says progress cannot be added or moved to the feature except by a ranger with an equipped Lund's door opener. And if I clear it, I can go through the locked locations. All right. And for path deck assembly at the terminal artery, it says randomly select 1 card from the artery set and shuffle it in, which I have done so. And then arrival setup, lead ranger, draw 1 card. Oh, before I do that, I got to flip this over and remind myself. So, when you travel, if you are traveling on the okay, I'm not traveling on a forest fungal terrain. The spores, there's a test on this. Awareness plus connect to distribute the spores to search the general set for a spore cloud and attach it to a non-human being or flora. Move spores equal to your effort from this mission to the spore cloud. And then I am trying to get 3 cards cleared that have the spore set. So, okay. All right, what do we get? Oh, I'm going to reshuffle that up. That was a moment card. I don't like doing moment cards right when I come to places. So we will shuffle that up. But let's get something else out there to start with. Oh, it is a being, the bustling Lightbringer. Alright, so we have flipped this over, and just for reference, it is Terminal Artery is a 2 presence, 3 per ranger progress threshold, and has a refresh response. Randomly choose one of the remaining cards from the Artery set and shuffle it into the path deck. Okay, well, let me go get... put those away. Let me go get those back here, shall I? Okay, so I got those set aside. I'll shuffle them up just right now. Alright, so we are on refresh. Since we traveled and we did our arrival setup stuff. So on the refresh, I take one of these at random, shuffle it into my deck, or into the path deck. There. Now, I'll fatigue myself from the injury. Now let's ready up all our cards. Put our energy back. And draw a new card into a vaulting rod. Right. Right, now start of the round, we get a new path card. It is Humming Circuits. It is a feature and machine. Comes in with 2 power on it. All right. First things first, let us exhaust myself, and I will spend a focus energy, put a token here, and draw, and it is quiet. You know, I'm going to spend 2 to get quiet out. For a very specific reason. Alright, we are going to try this test. Let's go 2 versus 1. -1, I succeed. So I move 1 spore from this. I'll just do that for a reference. And then, let me just make sure. Move spores. Oh no, that was to get the spore cloud. Oh, I'm sorry. I am sorry. So this doesn't go here. I gotta go get a spore cloud. Spore cloud. There we go. There is a spore cloud. There's 2 of them in there, so I'll just pull them both out. Alright, so Spore Cloud is an attachment response. After you clear the attached card, attach it face down to the Spore Specimens mission. When there are no spores on this attachment, discard it and replace all challenge effects on the attached card with the following. Okay, so before I do that, I do have a red crest. There's nothing with a red crest out here because that triggers, my understanding is this comes out after that. So, we're attached here. All right, now the thing is, I don't have to clear it with progress. So, Quiet is going to go attack the bustling Lightbringer, and he will do 3 damage to it, and take damage equal to that being's presence back. So just 1. And that is enough to defeat it. So this goes underneath my Spore Specimen card, and this gets discarded. And now let's... oh, no, I can't do that this turn because I don't have any fitness. Let's try to connect with Pakoto. I got nothing else. I'll only do two just in case I draw a yellow sun. So 2 versus 1. -1, I succeed with 2. Always good to have something there. Yellow sun. Or no, red crest. Nothing with red crest. Alright, so I am going to choose to rest. I cannot travel, so refresh phase. First things first, I will shuffle one of these cards at random in here. Right, let's shuffle this guy up. Right, then our injury fatigues us 1. And now we will ready ourselves up and all our cards. Put our energy back. Draw a card into another Stout-Hearted Guardian. I do not. Sometimes I forget to just make sure I don't have a reshuffle. Nope, I don't. Alright, path card. We get... ooh. Capacitive Leech. Being Prey Parasite. 1 presence. Comes in with 1 power. 3 harm. And 5 progress. Alright. Well, first things first, let us exhaust ourselves. Let's spend an energy to get 1 on here and recover our fatigue, a dear friend. Alright, let's try this test on this guy. So 2 versus a 1. 0. So I do succeed with a Spore Cloud. Unfortunately, it does mean I get 2 on there, which is unfortunate because I need 3 cards on there, so that is a shame. But what are you going to do? Blue Mountain, nothing in the missions, nothing here. Nope, because this replaces that. So, all right, I'm going to do the same thing with Quiet. I'm going to have him go attack the Capacitive Leeches to damage them for 3, taking 1 back in return because of presence of 1, and that defeats that. And puts the Capacitive Leech underneath there. Okay. All right, we are now going to exhaust this and spend a charge. When I exhaust and use a cell, when you interact with a machine, commit 2 effort. So I'm going to interact with this machine to try to traverse it, because it is a machine. I will spend 2. So right now I'm a 4 versus a 0. And we'll commit the Expedition Logbook to be a 5 versus a 0. Of course, it's a -2. So while I do succeed, I don't succeed by quite enough. All right, so this one, I either have to spend an energy or something bad happens, I spend an energy. Nothing on the missions, nothing here. Here, powered 1. Add 1 power to the machine with the least power. Well, that is you. Actually, no, I take that back. That is this guy. It is a machine with 0 power. Okay, and now I do have to shuffle the deck. All right. I'm going to, nothing else for me to really do here. I'm going to refresh, or I'm going to rest, cannot travel, refresh. First this one, take another random card, put it in here. Yeah, dropping cards all over the place. Hate it when that happens. Okay, now this fatigues me 1. Now we ready all cards. Restore our energy. Bold, that's nice. Now we get a new path card. It is, ooh, capacitive leech again. Comes in with 1 power. All right, well, I'm going to try this test. I have 1 in return, so it really doesn't matter as long as I succeed, it'll move 1 over, and that is that. -1, I succeed. So this comes out with spore on it. Nothing in the missions, nothing here, nothing here. And technically, since I say attachments happen after this, I do need to do this. So if there is an active predator, there is not. Okay. Well, that's nice. So we're going to have Quiet finish himself off here by putting 3, 3. That is enough to discard this guy, which we clear that on. And that is enough to also clear Quiet. Thank you, Quiet. There are now 3 or more path cards here, so I get to read that. 1.114. After gathering up the last few specimens, you notice something. Some of the spores, those that come from the more dangerous variety, cause the plants they touch to writhe and recoil. Could this be some sort of survival mechanism for the fungi? You wonder what application you might have for the spores when it occurs to you that they might be just what you need to clear away the aggressive vine preventing you from reaching certain areas of their ecology. You quietly thank Sirasana for sending you on this peculiar errand and tuck the spore specimens carefully into your belt pouch. Complete the spore specimens missions, write tested the spores in your campaign tracker, gain the repellent spores reward card. All right, let me write down test the spores first. Okay, so got that recorded. Now, each ranger may suffer 2 fatigue to swap a card in their hand for 1 copy of the repellent spores reward card. You know what? I'm gonna say no. Because I think I can get out of here, and then I can, with enough, and then I'll just camp, and then I can do my hand. So I will choose not to do that. All right, so my turn. We are going to do the door opener. And just 1. Because that is a presence of 0, so we are a 3 versus a 0. 0, I succeed with 3 presence, or 3 effort, so I get to clear this. $158. Okay. After a thorough examination of the doorway, you string a connection from Lund's door opening device to the socket. At first, nothing happens, but then you hear a loud thunk as the mechanisms behind the massive door spring to life. Then, with a grinding squeal that sets your teeth on edge, the portal slowly opens, revealing a darkened passageway beyond, leading you deeper into the archaeology ruins. You can travel from this location along routes locked by the lock icon, discard all progress from lock passage, and attach it face down to the current location as a reminder. When you travel, return lock passage to the general set. Right. Yellow sun, so we got to spend an energy. We will spend a spirit. And now I am going to do another traverse test. I'm going to commit bold, rebreather, and 1 fitness. So I am a 5 versus a 2. -1, I succeed with 4 progress. Red crest challenge effect. There is no red crest here. So, what do we got here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, close enough to the end of the day, especially with the injuries, that I am going to choose to rest. And I am going to travel. And as I travel, I am going to choose to camp. So I am traveling from the terminal artery. I am going down the flooded ruin path into the carbon-forged maze. So I will be heading there in the next adventure. So I have gotten what I need to come here, to get down through here. So I have a path through to the cage now, and I have what I need. So now I just got to make it happen. Awesome. Well, as always, if you made it this far, thank you so much for watching. I do appreciate it. This will be my last game that I play before I go to Con of the North and do the Illuminations, Illuminated Skies epic multiplayer event up there and hang out with the Earthborne Games folks. So looking forward to that. I think last time I looked, there were like 24 of the 30 tickets sold, so I get to hang out with a couple dozen other Earthborne Rangers fans. So that's going to be awesome. So I will definitely give my thoughts on the game and the scenario and everything when I get back. So I will catch you on the next time, folks. Hope everybody has a great night.